Now, making headlines today is the suggestion that processed food and sugary drinks could be hit with a fat tax in an effort to combat obesity. The Food Standards Agency is planning to consult a new government on whether such taxes would help to make people eat healthier. Now, if imposed, the taxes would operate on the same principle as those on tobacco or drink. And, of course, to change the behaviour and help raise money and awareness surrounding the issue. So, what do you think, girls? Is this a good idea? Is it a fair idea? And will it have, if it comes through, a chance at improving the nation's health?
I don't think it will. I think it's just silly. It's a bit nanny state, I think, because the thing is, you can't... what do? You put a tax on processed food or junk food or whatever you call it to stop people buying it. That doesn't make sense. I mean, the problem is when you've got kids, it's difficult enough to feed them. I mean, I know, because I've got Ollie, and he's 3, and he won't eat, and no matter what you do, he won't eat. You know, and if he'll eat a sausage, or if he'll eat a piece of bacon, or if he'll eat a chicken nugget, or whatever, then... you know, I thank God that he eats something that day. And you can't just say to a kid, it's that, nothing. You don't get anything, you don't eat then. You can't do that to a child.
You see, I disagree with you, Sherry, on this one, because I know I keep harping back to the good old days and I'm going to get slapped again, but when I was growing up, I didn't like what my dad liked, but we couldn't afford to feed me another thing. Like, you know, kids get fed all sorts of different things now. You know, the main meal of the day, and they'll say, what do you want, love? Because they don't like that. My mother was really worried because I didn't eat a lot as a child. And she took me to the doctors and he said, when she's hungry, she'll eat. Stop trying to force feed her. And I think we overfeed kids anyway. If they're not going to eat, leave them. They'll soon come round when they're hungry. And I just think... I think it's a good idea, this, because there is a huge problem with the fast food industry. There is a huge problem with obesity and processed foods. You know, and it might be a good idea to make that more expensive and make good food for you, I think, a little bit more cheaper. I think that's a great idea.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know whether it will solve the problem, because I don't think it's necessarily just because the food is cheaper, you know, fast food's cheaper or whatever. I think... you know, like Sherry said, when you do have kids, and the thing is, in our day, there wasn't those kind of temptations anyway when we were kids, so we didn't all scream and shout for fast food. But, you know, I'm like you. Kira's a terrible, terrible fussy eater. And like you, I'm just happy, you know, if she gets a chicken nugget down, I think, oh, thank God she's eaten. And I admit, I'm quite soft. You know, I do believe that thing of, well, if you don't want it, then you're not hungry, then, you know, you're not having anything else. But that's hard to see a kid.
Of course it is.
And the thing is also, she's tried things and physically retched on things. I can't sit there and go, no, you will retch. You will keep that down because it's really good for you, because I can't bear it.
But also, you know, because your boys have come of age now and they'll eat anything.
They'll
I
eat
bet you they were the
and
same,
they
weren't
were
they?
such fussy eaters when they were younger. They got to about the age of 12 and all of a sudden they discovered more than beans and mash.
But I think, you know, But, you know, what I'm trying to do at the moment with the stage that Ben's at is just extend his palate and give him a taste of everything. So I've conned him into thinking that pomegranates are sweets. So, and sweet corn. So I give it to him and say, if you're good, you can have some sweeties. And then and then he literally gorges on them. It's brilliant. They're a superfood. And they're steady on now because, you know, it's a treat. And he's fallen for it. I learned it from my brother. My brother used to tell his daughter that carrots were chocolate. But it works.
I keep trying to tell me that.
The thing is, I think what the money should be spent on better is on education and educating people about food, and that goes for adults as well. And the thing is, you know, the problem is kids go to other kids' houses and see what they're eating, and they want that. They go to school, and, you know, all the school food, if that's good, that's how they learn. They learn from being young, don't they? And if the money is spent there right from the beginning and educate them about food, and, you know...
How much education do you need, though? It's in every magazine, it's on every TV show.
It's telling them, it's teaching them, isn't it?
Yeah, but you know what? I don't necessarily think it's all about education, because I don't necessarily think that obesity is just people that, you know, just love food and can't stop eating. I think it runs much deeper than that. I mean, when you get into the morbidly obese stage, That, to me, is much more than somebody who just can't stop eating.
No,
that's
an
psychological
emotional
and
and-
emotional and probably stems from something else. So then you get into a whole different category.
The problem is when they're very young, like Ollie's 3, you know, obviously, I'm not contradicting myself, but to educate him about the fact that why don't you have that instead of that? He will just eat because he's hungry, and if that's what he wants, that's what he'll eat. But as they get older, on a school level, surely that's when it should start, you know? I don't think they do cooking in schools anymore, you know, where's that
No,
gone?
but they do healthy eating now. They do teach them about
I
healthy
just wish
eating.
kids could understand that pasta's fast food and it's really good for you. There's lots of alternatives to fast food. But hey, we could debate this for hours.
We could.
Good luck with your nuggets, love. Okay, time